Let's see. Are we live?
All right, go big screen.
I'm gonna mute the. Hold on, mute this. Let's see. Let's get this going. Let's see. We are about to be. What's up, fellas? I see Eric Sapola in here.
What's up, fellas? I see. All right, there we go.
There we go.
We are live. Welcome back, guys, to Have More Than Money. Me and Jared are here. We're inside, no nice view, but we are still bringing the value. I know we got some people still coming in. We got Eric. What's going on, Eric? New member. Hope you're killing it already. Sports, the live stream favorite. How we doing? Michael P. Yo.
Sports Mafia. Happy birthday! I know it's your birthday today.
Yes, my man. Happy freaking birthday. So where are we at right now? Should we get started?
Yeah, I mean we got 6 people in here. We don't need to wait. Obviously, the people that are here will get the value. Anyone else, they'll watch after.
Yeah, so obviously today we are talking Black Friday. So there's a lot of things that go into Black Friday and e-commerce in general, which I'm sure a lot of people already know. But there's a lot of things that applies to high ticket only when it comes to Black Friday. So these are some things we're going to talk about. Obviously, if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat and we'll get it rolling.
Yeah, and just so just to confirm, the audio is great. If you guys can hear us, like the video just to make sure, because we want to make sure everyone can hear what we're saying. So yeah, in regards to Black Friday, Mike, would you like to start the conversation? Do you want to start with a question?
Yeah, so kind of my thoughts on Black Friday, especially when it applies to high ticket, is it's not exactly the same as a typical Black Friday. Now, obviously, people are buying things at a higher level, so sales are going to go up no matter what. But tactics are just kind of different. It's not like we're selling $30 products where people are like, all right, we need to buy this thing right now for whatever as a gift. And I think there's a lot of similarities and differences. I don't know if you want any particular you want to highlight.
Yeah. So when it comes to holidays in general, right? Not even just Black Friday, but holidays in general, I think a big misconception people have is they get obsessed over the little things, right? They get obsessed over discounts. They get obsessed over trying to do what they can on a holiday. And yes, that is important. We're going to get into, great tactics to take advantage of holidays. But before we get into that, what I want to say is, what's really important is understanding the fundamentals of business first and foremost, right? When it comes to holidays, that stuff doesn't matter if your offer doesn't convert. I'll give you guys a great example, right? 2 years ago, me and Mike were doing low ticket. And at the time, I already had a successful high ticket store, right? The low ticket store, what we did was we tried to run some Black Friday deals and we made no sales, right? But the high ticket store, I didn't even run a single Black Friday deal that year. And Black Friday, we went off, right? So why is that? Because in the end of the day, when it comes to holidays, yes, there are ways to maximize your sales. And like I said, we will get into those. But what's really important is understanding that you need an offer that converts first and foremost, right? Then you need to scale that offer. And once you do that, then you don't even need to run sales and you'll still make sales on Black Friday.
Yeah, and I love that phrase, offer that converts. And this was something, like Jared mentioned, when he had his high ticket store and I was still working, my first attempt was with low ticket and then obviously we moved to high ticket. And what Jared would always try to get through my head, it was that phrase, offer that converts. And that's really the basis for any business in general, but especially e-commerce, because, in any e-commerce business, you're testing products, you're testing suppliers in the case of high ticket. But once you have that offer that converts, then the creativity, you have 1,000 different ways to, you can give discounts if you want, you can run special promotions, you can make new visuals, whatever it is. Once you find that offer that converts, your power to create based off of that offer becomes unlimited.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? There's 2 layers to business in general. E-commerce and just business in general online is one, let's just say you're finding success, right? Then there's 2 ways to do more revenue. You can either try to sell your current products to more people, or you can try to sell new products to more people. So in the end of the day, what's the answer? It's a seesaw, right? It's a back and forth, like a seesaw, because that's how it is. So think about it like this. Once you have an offer that converts, the real secret is to try to scale that, to try to get as many people as possible to buy. And that goes for any business, whether it's info, whether it's physical products, no matter what it is, you just need to find one offer that converts. Once you do that, you don't need to go crazy trying to find new things to sell. You just need to find new people to buy that product.
Exactly. And you use the word seesaw, which, I guess I would use the word balance, which is exactly what a seesaw is, because, we've seen people go into e-commerce and they find an offer that converts, but maybe not at the highest level. So maybe, just to put it in terms of high ticket, maybe they found a supplier that brings in, $1,000 profit a month per se. When we talk about seesaw, the idea, like Jared mentioned, is to take that $1,000 and scale it as much as possible. Now, when you do that, it's obviously a great feeling, but you shouldn't be complacent and be like, all right, this one offer, this one supplier that's, converting, I can ride that to the moon. Like that's foolish thinking. And that's why, we say balance and doing both at the same time. And it sounds complicated, but the idea is obviously, just to recap, scale as much as possible and then bring on new suppliers, scale, and you keep on going. And obviously, cutting the fat is a part of that process, but that's the general idea of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's that you need experience to truly understand, right? Like, you really will not know a supplier's full potential until 6 months after you launch that supplier. So, you need to be in that perfect balance of always looking for new suppliers and always trying to expand the store while always analyzing the data, right? When you're first getting started, one of the most important pieces of advice that we can give you is to know your numbers, analyze the data. Because when you first run ads, right, you're going to run ads to maybe 5 different suppliers. If 2 of them are profitable and 3 of them aren't, it's very important you know that, because then what you can do is you can spend less on the 3 that aren't and spend as much as you possibly can on the 2 that are, until there's literally no more money to spend. And then you have no choice other than to find new suppliers. So that's the balance that we do, is we literally will spend until we can't spend anymore, and then we'll look for new suppliers.
Yeah, exactly. And, numbers, that's like Jared just said, in any business, you need to know your numbers. You need to know how much you can spend before being profitable, how much profit you're getting per ad spend. All that stuff is the real important stuff, because, people ask, they'll ask ad questions like, hey, like, I'm looking at the analytics and these impressions don't seem that high during this time of the day. This metric is saying this, and that's all, maybe it holds some water. But at the end of the day, the numbers, the profit is what matters. Profit is king, right? So as long as you know your numbers, you can, know your business as great as possible. And something that we always tell clients, obviously more so for the MTM members, but, at the end of the month, tally up how much each supplier spent, tally up how much each supplier profited off of that ad spend. So that way you really get to know your business. Like we always say, your business is your baby. You should nurture it and care for it as if it's your kid. And, knowing the numbers is the first part of that.
Exactly. And again, obviously the topic of this video was, how to crush it during the holidays, but it's so important we go over this stuff, because in the end of the day, if you know holidays tactics or not, it won't matter if you don't have that offer that converts. And again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, for those who just joined, I had a successful store during a Black Friday, the same time I had an unsuccessful store. And the beautiful case study was that the successful store, without running Black Friday deals, did amazing. And the unsuccessful store, we were pretty much trying to give the products away for free, and we still couldn't sell them. So again, these fundamentals, if you just tuned in, rewatch the first 8 to 10 minutes of this video, because these fundamentals are the key to success. And now we can talk about, Black Friday and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And, before we really dive into the Black Friday ideas that we've implemented in the past, I also want to point out just another beautiful part about high ticket dropshipping, which I kind of touched upon before, is that, people search for these products year round. So that's why Black Friday isn't really an insane holiday to us high ticket dropshippers, because while the sales, usually show that they increase for that time period, isn't it a beautiful thing that people are searching for these products year round? Like, I love it. It really, I don't want anything seasonal up and down.
Yeah. And, always keep the abundance mentality at all times, guys. Like, even if the products you're selling are technically seasonal, I've never actually I've never actually said anything like this on a live stream before, but I'm willing to tell you guys that my biggest store ever, a lot of the products are outdoors products, right? Someone that may have a limited mindset may say, oh, I can't sell outdoor products. Half the year it's cold. Well, guess what? People are still buying it, 1. 2, a lot of the country is hot all the year. So, the point of the story is in my opinion, in our opinion, the best way to go about it is to create a store that can sell inside and outside and have everything, a little bit of everything. Have something for all 4 seasons. And this way you really won't be seasonal. But again, even if your store is a seasonal type store, I promise you'll still make sales in the off season. And also on the off season, it's much easier to close suppliers, right? If you're selling backyard type products and you're trying to close suppliers in the middle of the summer, good luck, because all of those suppliers are going to be sold out of inventory, not looking for retailers. But if you're starting a store right now, like now is an unbelievable time to call outdoor suppliers, because as the winter comes, so will their slow season. And that's when they're going to want to expand, and you close them now. And next thing you know, you're doing six figures by the summer.
Exactly. And, it's a beautiful thing. Jared just mentioned abundance mindset, in this context per se. And I just have a absolutely hilarious and insane story from 2 weeks ago. I had a supplier tell me, so this supplier it's seasonal. It's another seasonal outdoor product. And this supplier told me to lower my budget on them because he thinks I'll be wasting money because people don't want to buy the product during the cold seasons. And I laughed on the phone. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, we're making all these sales and you're telling me to lower the budget? I was honestly kind of like just turned off the conversation. But it really just goes to show, again, we're talking abundance mindset. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we're making these sales. I'm doubling the budget. This guy's telling me to lower the budget.
And that's the beauty of being a drop shipper, right? It's like these brands, they're subject to just their product, right? Like they have to deal with the off season, deal with the on season. For guys like us, for drop shippers, the beauty of drop shipping is that it's so flexible, right? Like you don't have anything bounding you to any of these suppliers. It's, you get approved and then you just run ads. And if you make sales, you buy them. Like, to keep it really simple, what you should tell suppliers if they're skeptical is like, I just want to be a customer for you. I just want to run ads to your products for free. And then I'll buy it off you the same way everyone else does. And that's it. Sometimes I'll tell suppliers, I just want to be like your typical customer, but instead of buying one item, I want to buy 100, 1,000, $1 million worth over the span of the next few years. And, when you give them that perspective, that really opens their eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And, talking to suppliers, and for the people who are watching, who are pretty well into the high ticket process and have been doing this for a little bit of time. And for those of you who haven't, you understand that when you're talking to these suppliers, like, we're business owners, we are entrepreneurs, we are the owners of the business. And a lot of times you go and make a call to the supplier and you're talking to someone who's working a 9 to 5, hates their job, and you're just not in the same frequency almost. They're thinking so limited. And I mean, like the story I just told, it gets frustrating when you're thinking so big and your suppliers are just not in the same frequency as you. You're like, you just want to shake them. Like, I'm trying to make us a lot of money. Like, just think like how I think.
Yeah. And honestly, it's great that you mentioned that, because, some people watching this may be in a position where they're making sales and they're making a lot and they may not have outsourced yet. And that can be the secret for that specific person to, take advantage of the holiday season. So if you're watching this and you're already doing 40, 50, 60K a month in sales, which I know some of the students watching this are, maybe for you, the best thing you can do in the next few months is hire that first employee. Because guys, believe me when I say this, right? It costs typically $600 to $1,000 for a month for a Filipino employee from Craigslist Manila. You will pay $600 to $1,000 for 1 month. And I promise you that employee, that virtual assistant, will make you probably 10x that.
Yeah, and this is like real shit that we're talking about. We literally just spoke about this for, I would say, 10 minutes before we hopped on this live stream. Me and Jared just had a real conversation about outsourcing. And we're working on other businesses right now, and it seems like every time we outsource something, we wind up making more money. And I'm not even, I shouldn't say it like objectively like that, like as if it's in question. It's really, when you are smart with how you outsource, your time and your energy is able to go to things to just, expedite your business.
Remember what we said in the beginning of this conversation, right? It's, there's two ways to grow your business, either finding new products or finding new people to sell your current products to. Those are the only two ways to grow the business. Answering customer calls, answering customer emails, going back and forth with customer to supply. Those aren't tasks that are going to lead to a bigger bank account. Yeah, you may answer the phone and close a sale that you wouldn't have closed if you didn't answer the phone. But let me ask you a question. Would you rather be having to close sales over the phone, or would you rather build a company that will do 30K a day without you answering the phone, and then answering the phone on top of that will get you to 60, 70K, right? That's the way we look at it. We look at it like we want to build stores that are going to make money regardless of whether people are answering the phone or not, but we're going to hire people to answer the phones. This way, the sales are coming in from all over. And, at this point, it's really gotten to that level for us where, all of our focus is on generating new leads, right? That as an entrepreneur, if you want to move at the highest level possible, then you need to remove yourself from all tasks that don't involve generating new leads. And what you'll see happen is you'll start working less and you'll start making more. It's a crazy counterintuitive approach to living life, but this is the life that we have chosen, and this is the life that we're striving to master. And I'm telling you, everyone watching this, that over the last 3 to 6 months, I've been able to cut my workload down tremendously. And the craziest part is that my income has been skyrocketing. Why? Because I've been able to outsource all of the things that don't lead to making more money, so I can put my focus into only doing things that lead to making more money.
Yep, exactly. And if you haven't read the book Work Less, Make More, I'm not even completely done with it yet. Honestly,
I was gonna call him out.
You were gonna call me out. Jared gave me the book like a month ago, and I'm like halfway done. But it's an amazing read. My attention span has been everywhere. But I do want to throw this with a grain of salt. This outsourcing stuff, it's definitely a little middle tier. If you're someone who just opened your first store, don't worry about outsourcing. You can outsource product listings, of course, and we talk about that inside the course and how you can go about outsourcing listings. But, don't worry about hiring that first customer service employee off the bat, because, before you can go out and teach things, you have to do it yourself. And, same thing goes for product listings. You're not going to hire someone to do your store's very first product listing. You need to go through the process, learn it, understand it, and then you can go and teach it. And same thing goes for customer service. You need to do the customer service hardcore, learn what it takes, learn how to talk to customers, how to close sales. And then when you have that down pat, outsourcing will be a piece of cake, because the skill. All you need to do is transfer it over to your employee, and it'll work like magic.
Exactly. You must have it before you give it, and you must learn. You must learn it before you teach it. And that's very important. A lot of people try to buy their way into having a store pre-built for them, right? Like me and Mike have played with the idea of hiring someone to help us make pre-built stores for clients. But the truth is, building a Shopify store is a very valuable skill, and it's actually not hard to do at all. So it's like, why we don't even want clients that aren't going to take the time to learn how to build a store, because in the end of the day, that's probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest thing about running a business. Like, I've actually pretty much never seen someone. Well, actually, I wouldn't say never, but very rarely do we see people get stuck at the building website stage. It may take people longer than it should, which if you're an MTM member and you're watching this, there's no reason why you shouldn't be running ads in 2 months. And I'm not saying this to call out members, because I know that we have members that it took 4 or 5 months to run ads. I'll admit it took me 4 or 5 months to run ads on my very first store. But nowadays, when I launch a new store, we'll have the ads running within a month, 2 months max. And for you, there's no reason why it shouldn't be the same. If you're taking what we say seriously and actually working 1 to 2 hours a day, or 6 to 8 hours per week, and you're actually doing the right things, then there's no reason why within 2 months you shouldn't have ran your first ad.
Yeah, something that I love that you pointed out, Jared, was the idea that, building a website is a skill. And that's something that I think a lot of people need to understand when they start any business. And it kind of helps keep some peace of mind. Like, all right, maybe the business isn't taking off and it's not profiting like you'd hope for, or whatever. The progress isn't there just yet. You should always remember that the things that you're learning, like building a website, like communicating with suppliers, like learning Google ads, these are all valuable skills. And, something that me and Jared preach on our Instagrams all the time is that you need to make yourself a valuable person, so that way you can get paid accordingly. And these type of skills, building a website, learning ads, learning how to talk to people, these are skills that make you more valuable. So always keep that in mind. If you're ever feeling down about your business, just, look back and see how far you have really come and the skill set that you've acquired.
Yeah. Everything in life you do should really be towards sharpening your sword, right? Getting more skills, becoming more skillful. That's why Mike and I aren't really into the whole automation type stuff. And we don't even believe in it. We don't even see how it makes sense, right? Like, for what we do currently, if we were to actually offer automation, we would have to charge like $200,000, honestly, because that's how much our service would be worth at that point. If you wanted us to literally build a successful store for you and run the ads for you, I would have to charge $200, because the truth is, the stores that we own are worth way more than that. Some of our stores are worth over 7 figures, right? So in the end of the day, why am I saying this? Because if you're watching this, then you shouldn't be thinking about how you can pay someone to run a store for you. You should be thinking about how you can learn skills, and then that's how you become a truly independent person. Like, financial independence is one thing, right? But when you're financially independent, plus you have the skill set / confidence that you know that no matter what, you'll be fine. That's real, that's real confidence. That's real independence, right? Like, when you're financially independent, you may still worry like, oh, maybe I'll lose it all. But when you have the skills, then you're like, you know what? Even if I did lose it all, I know for a fact I'd get rich again.
Exactly. That again comes down to making yourself a valuable person. And people always, throughout the saying, whatever you want to call it, if every person in the world had their bank account start at zero, the rich people who were rich before would again become rich. And it's again the same idea, because they want to have the mindset, they know what it's like to build a business, and they have the valuable skills. Once you do it once, like Jared said, those skills stick with you forever. And people can take money from you, things can happen to businesses, but the one thing people can't take is knowledge and skills.
Yep. So, I guess while, we're talking about this, let's pivot now more to, Black Friday and, what the people that are actually drop shipping, what can they do to maximize, their Black Friday results. So the first thing I'll talk about is, one, if you haven't started, you better start collecting people's emails, right? That is an asset that will grow over time and become so valuable that you can't even fathom, right? One of our stores, we've been running ads to it for over 3 years now. It's done 1.5 million visits, right? So 1,500,000 people have visited the store, and around 24,000 people have signed up for the email list, right? When you have a 24,000 person email list and every single one of those people signed up to get a new customer discount on a product they were interested in, what do you think happens when you send out an email offering a little bit of a bigger discount, offering free shipping and no sales tax? Even if you're offering that already, I've sent out emails literally just offering free shipping and no sales tax, and they've brought in over 15K before.
Insane. He's talking about, he runs promotions, he runs sales that are just year-round sales. Like, free shipping, no tax isn't even a sale, but that just, moves mountains. It shows how email lists, how powerful they really are, where you don't even need to give customers a discount. All you need to do is give them a reminder. So, if you already have an email list, even if you have, say, 50 people on your email list, send out a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, whatever it is, you'll catch some fish, hopefully.
Yep. The next thing I would say to do for Black Friday is, if you're not using an app like Top Header Bar, install it, offer some sort of Black Friday code, offer expires at midnight, put that on your Top Header Bar, that will convert. But again, none of this will matter if you don't already have an offer that converts.
Yeah, exactly. And just kind of going based off of that, obviously the header bar, insanely important, throw a discount code in there. Some people change their banners. If you want to have a custom banner made for the week or for the 2 weeks, have it made. It doesn't really cost anything to have banners made, throw it up. But something that I think you definitely need to keep in mind is, know your numbers, know your supplier profit margins too, because, you're going to be getting inquiries. People are going to be calling, they're going to be live chatting. They're going to say, hey, I see this product. What kind of Black Friday discount can you give me? And you need to, it helps to know the numbers in advance. If you have one supplier that gives you, say, 40% margins, you can give them a nice Black Friday discount. Now, if you have a supplier who only gives you 20% after shipping and taxes, you can't be throwing around 10% off coupon codes. So know your numbers so you know exactly how much you can give away. Funny story, last Black Friday, I earned the name Dishonor from Jared and actually one and my mentors. They called me Dishonor because it was Thanksgiving. They literally called me Dishonor for like months after that. It was absolutely insane. But I had a customer call me. It was on Thanksgiving, actually. It was Thanksgiving like evening. And, I spent the day Thanksgiving with my family. I had a couple of drinks in me, so I was feeling myself. I was a little tipsy. And this woman calls about a brand new supplier I launched like 2 weeks before. And it was an $8,000 order. She was going to buy 3 products for $8,000. And I was jumping out of my seat. I was like, here we go. Like, I'm closing this friggin' Black Friday sale. And instead of giving her I want to say 5% off. I gave 15% off, or maybe instead of 10,
I gave 20.
I think I gave. I'm pretty sure I gave 20% off.
How do you accidentally give 20% off? Can anyone answer that?
Yeah, if you guys have an answer for how I can give 20% off, please write it in the chat. I can learn this Thanksgiving. But yeah, I guess that's another tip for Black Friday, Cyber Monday is don't get too drunk on Thanksgiving where you're giving away big discounts.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to know what it's like partnering with me, you close an $8,000 sale and you still get called dishonorable. But exactly. No, I mean, it was great because it was funny because I remember during Thanksgiving getting the ka-ching and seeing such a big sale, and then Mike telling me, yeah, I accidentally gave too much off. Great.
In the beginning,
great times.
When I was first getting my store off the ground, every time I'd make a sale or whatever, Jared would check it, and there was always a discount applied. I love giving out, or I used to just love giving out discounts like they were candy. But it comes to a point which, on a more serious note, don't let customers. Customers are going to try to be smart. They're going to be like, this competitor said that they're going to give me 20% off this item. Like, can you match that? I'll buy it right now. Like, don't just make the sale so your Shopify dashboard shows sales. If that makes sense. You don't want to, if you're making sales, you need to make sure you're giving profit, because anytime you're selling a $2,000 item, there's always a little bit of risk that comes with that. Whether it's, they want to return it and you have to deal with that, or, something comes damaged and they want a discount. Like, you need to make sure that you're profiting on every sale. So don't be, this upcoming Black Friday, Cyber Monday, don't go too sale crazy. You don't need to give every single customer an insane discount. Give them a discount code, even if it's 5% off. And, see how the conversation goes.
Yeah, perceived value is a lot more important than, how much you're actually giving off, right? Like, you don't need to necessarily give a 10% discount, but, if you do the compare price that looks like you're giving 20% off when you're actually not giving off anything, that would probably convert more sales than giving a 10% discount, right? If you have a customer on the phone and you tell them 10% off right away, you may not close the sale, right?
Yeah.
But if you tell them that you can start off with 2% and then you slowly work your way up to 4%, and then next thing you're at 5%, then you're like, you know what? 10% right now, I can't go in. Like, that will close a sale, right? So as Mikey mentioned, it's a perfect, don't go so crazy to just give money away. Stick to your margins, understand your margins. Also with Black Friday, make sure you're in contact with your suppliers. I've had suppliers who actually lowered their MAP for Black Friday, and I didn't even know about this, and they lowered it like a week and a half ago. And I mean, obviously I have so many other stores, so many things happening I didn't notice, and that's a week and a half of running ads of not having the best price, which is just a huge waste of money. So make sure you're in contact, make sure you know your margins, make sure you're collecting emails, make sure you're running some sort of promotion, but don't go crazy giving money off.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know obviously there's a lot of MTM members in here, so I guess this is more so for the people who have, stores up and running, and, maybe you have ads. I think it's just a beautiful thing. Give yourself a pat in the back, because, 99% of people are spending their Black Friday, Cyber Monday strictly shopping. And, I'm going to be doing shopping because there's going to be deals. There's nothing wrong with that. But the general idea, and like I said, give yourself a pat in the back, is that you're giving yourself a damn chance. You're out there selling. And, I know for my first, e-commerce Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I felt that. I was like, wow, this is the first time where I'm not just on the buying end. I'm not just on the consuming end. That, we're on the producing side. And that's something to be proud of.
Yeah. So, one thing to focus on when it comes to products to sell during the holidays, right? So typically the best products to sell are products that people need. Now, the problem is with our business is that people don't buy things they need during the holidays. They buy gifts. So, you can have a little bit of a shift of mindset during this time if you'd like, and think more about products that might be luxury items, amenities, things that people do for fun, things that people might buy for Christmas gifts. Now, it is high ticket drop shipping, so it'd have to be rich people Christmas. But, you can change your mindset for the holidays. That's why, and obviously if you're an MTM client watching this, you'll always hear me and Mike tell you guys to make a website with a generic name, because you'll be so thankful that you did that in the long run. And we've had plenty of students who come to us with already done stores, that the stores are specific, and almost every time they end up starting a new store. For us, yeah, you can have multiple stores like we do, but you don't need multiple stores. Your best bet, or in my opinion, the easiest bet, is to make one store with a generic name that can sell anything. And truth be told, as I've said this in other streams, the only reason why me and Mike have so many stores is because we have different partners of people that we work with. But, you know, if it was just us, we would just keep growing one store at a time. And that's, you know, for you, my best advice is to grow one store that can sell anything. And if you have a friend that you know is into drop shipping and you're already successful, invest in them, teach them, guide them, and own 50% of their store. And that'll be a great investment for you too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, again, it kind of comes down to priming your instincts. Eventually you'll get to a point where you know the business so well, where you'll feel comfortable. Like, you know, you have a friend and you shark them, you know, you say, I'll give you some knowledge, maybe I'll give you money, whatever you need. And, you know, that's my point is you're priming your instincts. And that's what, you know, all business owners are doing all the time is they're just they're going through the process and they're just learning things. And, you know, now because they went through a certain situation, they're able to recognize it and see it the next time it comes around.
Yeah. So, you know, for anyone watching this that's already running ads, you know, understand that typically the winter seasons are a little bit slower than the summers when it comes to high ticket drop shipping. And that's not a bad thing, because if you're making sales right now, understand that you have a lot to look forward to over the next 3 to 6 months. If you're not running ads, then again, right now is a great time to start building the site, calling suppliers, closing them, and then begin running, because regardless of what happens, by the time the spring and summer comes around, you'll have a new skill set, new data, and truth be told, you'll probably be making a lot of money.
Yeah, no, exactly. And there's obviously a lot of moving parts, but you know, once you put it all together, it feels like synergy. It feels great. You know, we talked about, I mean, you know, in terms of products to sell, I don't really think there's Black Friday, you know, specific product. You know, that's kind of the reason that we got into this business, was that so we're not selling, you know, flimsy, you know, gadgets, because honestly, I think a lot of e-commerce stores thrive off of selling the gadgets. You know, maybe, you know, my cousin wants a fidget spinner, so I'll buy her one off this website. But, you know, I guess just going back to my point earlier was, you know, we're selling things that people need year round. There's just always, as marketers, as businessmen, there's always things that we can do to increase sales. And, you know, I guess that's just a great, I don't even know if it has to be said, but, you know, when you compare a job to owning a business, you know, we always say you can't just ask your boss for more money. You're like, yo, I want to raise. Like, it doesn't work like that. You can't just say, hey, I need more money. I need to work an extra 20 hours this week. It doesn't work like that. Now, like Jared mentioned, as business owners, there's always things that we can do to try to raise our profits, and things like an email list that are assets, you know, one email, bang, raising a budget, maybe launching a text ad. These are all things that, you know, as people who own businesses, we have just the power, pretty much the power goes up to whatever our mind can conceive, if that really made sense. It's like, you know, we have creativity, and that creativity is just used to make our business, you know, better.
Exactly. And, you know, remember back what I talked about in the beginning of the conversation about lead generation, how that's everything, right? Like, one of our clients asked a great question the other day. He said, I always see you guys waking up to sales. You know, how do you do it? Do you target differently? Because obviously it's a different times, like, you know, making sales at weird hours. Because we make sales at all times of the day. But the answer is no, we don't target differently. It's all still United States. Yes, people from the United States are buying at any hour of the day, whether it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So the question is, how do you create sales at all hours of the day or weird times of the day? And the answer is simply in your ad spend, you know, and that doesn't mean that you should go crazy and start spending a lot. But when you start spending, what that does is it allows you to analyze the data, which allows you to scale the ads, which allows you to start spending a lot and making a lot. So, you know, if you're spending $300, $400, $500 a day or more, you know, or $800 a day or more, or $1,000 a day or more, or even, you know, we've had stores spend even close to $2,000 in a day before. When you're spending those large amounts of money, then chances are you will wake up to a sale. And obviously at this point, it's more likely than not that we will wake up to sales because we're spending such large amounts of money. There's no secret spell. There's no trick. We're not targeting people from other countries to make those sales. It's all the United States. You know, but again, remember the beginning of the conversation, right? Do you want to own a business where, you know, you might make 2 or 3 sales a day and every single one of those sales has to be over the phone? Or would you rather own a business that's making sales all day over the phone and just coming in randomly, right? You want to build a big business, a massive business. Now, not everyone wants to do that, right? Some people watching this may only want $2,000 to $4,000 a month, and that's fine. But if that's you, then you can't expect to wake up to sales every day. You know, you got to think in terms of, am I the size of a massive company? Because these massive companies, not only are they waking up to sales every day, but they're making sales every second.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, you go back to the question that one of our clients asked. It was a great question because it's obviously a learning point where we can help people learn from the question, right? Because, I feel like the general essence of the question was, how come, you guys, like you said, wake up to sales? At the same time, you don't want to be comparing yourself necessarily to anyone, honestly, but let alone, people who have been doing this for 4 years,
let alone your mentors.
Yeah, exactly. Just my point is, don't feel down because maybe you see we're waking up to sales. Maybe, we're having 10K days, don't put yourself down. If anything, the only outcome of comparison you should feel is inspiration.
Yeah.
You should know that, all right, wow, it really is possible to wake up and have 10K in sales already.
Exactly. And if your store isn't spending, majority of our stores are spending between $700 to $1,000 a day. So it's like, if your store isn't spending that much, then don't even think about getting even close to the results we're getting naturally, right? Like, in the end of the day, the more you spend effectively, the more you make always. So, if you're not spending $700 to $1,000 a day, how can you even imagine to be doing what we're doing? And again, we've been doing it for years. So it's not like we're spending $700 a day on nonsense. It's $700 of very effective, very efficient clicks every single day.
Yep, exactly. And I guess just want to pivot a little bit towards the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and from an ads perspective. Obviously, the point is there's not a whole lot you do different. But things that you can do from an ads perspective is you can raise your budget. Maybe you're at limit. Maybe you're limited by your budget. So maybe raise it an extra 30%. If you have a supplier who you think has made a couple sales and you haven't launched a text ad yet, launch a text ad. Those are things. There's probably going to be more search volume because people are searching to buy things. So don't be afraid to spend a little bit more. The idea is obviously that, you're going to spend more, but you're going to make it back in sales.
Exactly. And if you spend a lot of money on ads, period, it could also be a good idea to make a text ad just after the name of your website,
Yeah.
Because when your website starts becoming well-known, people might talk to their friends about, like, I think about it. Like I mentioned, one of our sites has had over 1.5 million visitors, right? If just 10% of those visitors mention the name of our website to a friend of theirs, that's a huge amount, right?
Yeah.
So, people will start searching your company as your website starts growing. So that's, obviously some food for thought is, maybe make a text ad with the name of your website as well. If you're someone, who's been running ads for a while.
Yeah. And honestly, it doesn't even need to be that long. If you've been running ads for like a month or two, and obviously it's going to spend, but text ads with your store name, obviously don't spend like regular text ads because you're not bidding against anybody, or you'd like to hope you're not bidding against anybody. But yeah, it's funny because you'll run the text ad for your store name, and obviously you'll see the search terms, and people will search things like, is whatever.com a legit store? Is the .com a scam, or reviews of whatever.com? It's cool to see people really searching your website. So it definitely helps to have that. If you've been running ads for a little bit.
And Mike mentioned that no one's gonna be bidding over your website name. But also, don't be afraid to run a text ad of like a competitor's name to your website. Like what?
Yep.
We've had people that were competing with us over ads, and they were bothering us. So yeah, we just ran text ads there where if people searched their website, they found us. And don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to be aggressive. Take it from us. When it comes to running ads, we're very aggressive because you're either going to get profit or you're going to get data, and either one is going to lead to more profit.
Yeah. And I mean, we're talking about creativity, just another good story. Probably about 6 or 7 months ago, Wayfair was running a special promotion on this product type that I was selling. And it was all over their website. It was nuts. They were blowing it up. There were emails, ads, everything. And so I ran a text ad for Wayfair and the product type. And it made some sales. I think it made a couple of sales, but it wound up not being profitable. But again, my point in that story is, I got creative with it. I was like, screw it. If Wayfair is running this sale on this product type, I want people to find me when they're looking for Wayfair. Like,
exactly.
I love it.
And it's funny because at first, when you're first getting started, you really want to analyze the numbers as we mentioned. You want to look at each supplier individually, and you want to do that as you get big too. But at the same time, when you're older, when your store is older and profitable, that gives you the leeway to take more chances. You can spend more, reinvest it, and try things out as you should. You should always be trying. You should always be testing. And you should always be learning.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else, Jared, that you have in mind to cover in terms of Black Friday.
No, just again, guys, focus on the fundamentals. Like we mentioned, focus on the offer that converts, focus on lead generation. And when you're making sales, then holidays become a chance for you to make a lot more sales, right? That's it. Holidays do not take you from 0 to 10,000, but holidays will take you from 50,000 to 80,000. That's the way it works. So, again, focus on the fundamentals first and foremost. Focus on the beautiful site, the ads that are running smoothly, the product that converts, the offer that converts. Focus on that. And then when the holidays come, take advantage of the tips we mentioned to increase your sales.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that you brought up that point, because I feel like a lot of people will inside they're like, all right, Black Friday's coming up. This is when my store is going to take off. And it's really just so wrong, and it's also not sustainable. Let's say you have your first 10K, your first 5K day on Black Friday. Like, all right, that's dope, but you did it for a day. The real goal should be by this time next Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the sales are just going to be cherries on top of the normal sales.
Exactly.
That's the idea.
Unless you're someone who's already making sales. Then hopefully by next year, you'll be doubled what you're doing. And if you're doing great, then I hope you're still doing great. So, let's take it to the questions. Now is the time. If you have questions, write them now or forever hold your peace.
We probably won't be going live next week as we're going home for Thanksgiving, but we'll be back the week after.
Yeah, maybe we'll find it. Maybe
we'll make it work, honestly. Who knows?
We'll find it, maybe.
We don't have a whole lot of questions. Matt said, hey, boys, I'm nervous about getting calls from customers while at work since I currently work a 9-to-5 job and I'm worried about not being able to talk to customers. So, Matt, it's a great question. We've gotten it before. First off, I appreciate the hustle. I always have so much more respect for people who can go to their 9-to-5 and then, find time to grind in their business after. So props to you for that. One tip that we always say to people is set up automated SMS in Grasshopper. So if you miss a call, have them automatically get a text message saying, hey, sorry we missed your call. We're probably on the line helping another customer. Feel free to ask any questions here. We'll give you a call back. And obviously, whenever you're off, maybe you have a lunch break or after the job, give that extension 1 a call back. Don't be afraid to call them back 3 hours later.
Yeah, Matt, I would definitely say get automated text messages on Grasshopper. That's one of the best things you can do. So it'll automatically text the customers if you miss a call. As Mike mentioned, don't be afraid to call customers back. Between that and the automated texting, and then when you send the automated text, they will respond. If you need help with what to write for the text, I can help you with that. But they'll respond. Then you can text them back and forth and then call them when you can. And once your store starts making sales, then you'll be able to justify either A, quitting your job, or B, hiring an employee. Matt, it's a very legitimate concern. I'm happy that you mentioned it. I hope you're still watching. But there's not something we haven't dealt with before. We've had clients in the exact same position as you who have made it work and are now profiting a great amount, still at their job. This one person that I'm specifically thinking about is actually making more than enough to quit, and he's probably going to quit his job within the next few months. So, I don't know if you love your job or what the deal is there, but again, ideally speaking, when you're getting calls, that means you'll either be making enough to 1, quit your job, or B, hire an employee. So either way, don't worry about it. Just focus on everything we talked about today, and you'll figure it out when the time comes.
Yeah, exactly. I guess just as a tip in general, focus on what you can control. If you need the job, then that's out of your control. You can't quit today, but there are things that are inside of your control, like the automated text messaging. And as long as you're focusing on the things on things in your control, you're being as productive as possible.
Exactly. And I'll give you a good story, Matt, too, is like when my first high ticket dropshipping store started taking off, at the time I was a full-time college student and I was working a part-time job, and my store just started taking off. So I was getting calls all day, and once it really started to do well, and it didn't take long for the store to start making more than my job was paying me, especially because it was a part-time on-campus type job. But the point is that very quickly I just started taking the calls at work because I saw that I was already making way more than I was for my job. So I would literally just step out. I would just tell my boss or my coworkers, like, hey guys, I got to step out. It's important. Next thing you know, I couldn't go to work once without taking these calls, and they're asking what's going on. And then I told him the truth. And at that point, I was like, yeah, like I'll finish out the semester, but I won't be back next semester.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm just like remembering now, just because he's talking about it, is, senior year of college when, his store was, just killing it. It was absolutely killing it. He would literally, there was just one class where every single time he would just walk out. It was almost at the same time. He wouldn't make a noise. Like, I would just look at him. He'd go out, and you see him in the hallway pacing back and forth, like closing the sale. It was amazing. And I think the teacher eventually
said something.
Professor made a comment like,
well, the worst part about it was that it wasn't like a lecture hall. It was like one of those small classrooms in college. And my seat was on the exact opposite side of the door. And every day I'm getting a call from a customer. And every day I would walk across the entire classroom in front of the professor and out the door. I wouldn't say anything. And then, as Mike told me one time when I came back, the professor made a comment to the class like, I guess he has a small bladder or something. And obviously, in the end of the day, you have to always think about, the reward risk ratio. It's like, am I going to sit in this classroom and learn about, world history? Or am I going to answer a call that could potentially be $400 or $500 profit? Which, honestly, there was one time during college, where I was getting a call. And I almost said, you know what? I'm just going to stay in class. I'm not going to take it. And that call ended up being $1,000 profit. It ended up going on for an hour. I didn't get to go back to class. My bag and stuff was still in the classroom. But that call was $1,000 profit. So it's like, imagine I would have just stayed in that classroom and missed that call. I would have wanted to off myself.
You want to talk real friends, man? How many friends will take your backpack and books while you're closing a $1,000 sale? Maybe not many, but we did out here. But yeah, I mean that. Those are the kind of stories that you look back on, and maybe in the moment Jared was thinking to himself, "Damn, I look like a fool right now leaving class." But I mean, as you can tell now, we're laughing all the way in our
exactly.
Matt K again. Let's go Yanks. I'm guys. Thank you, Matt. There's actually it's a split shirt. Someone said today, "Let's go Mets." Thought I was a Mets fan, but let's go Yanks.
That's funny.
Parrot. How does the rev share work on your partnership stores? It really depends on, what you're bringing to the table. So, if you're offering just money, it'll be one thing. Now, if you're offering money and your time, then you start thinking 50-50. But it really just depends on a situational basis.
I think he's asking more about like the accelerator program. Yeah, if you're talking about our partnership program, the way that works is, we get 20% of the net profit. I will admit we have not been good at collecting profits. If you're watching this as part of our partnership program, you probably know that by now. Because we have some students that are making so much money that they're literally pretty much begging us to take it. And I'm not even lying. But in the end of the day, don't worry about us taking money from you. If you want to join our partnership program, we're going to do everything we can to be successful. Like I said, we have not really been doing a good job at all at collecting money. And when I say at all, I pretty much mean we haven't collected. That doesn't mean we're not going to come for it eventually. And that doesn't mean, it's still not rightfully ours. But at the end of the day, don't worry about it. The rev share is 20% profit would go to us, right? So that would mean you would have to literally profit. That doesn't mean revenue. That means straight profit. So again, for us, we're not worried about taking money from you. We have so many stores that's not our concern. Our concern is really helping you be successful. And then when it comes down to it, hopefully you'll be in the position where you're asking us to take the money and we're like, all right, we'll figure it out. Because that is happening with some of our clients. So.
And the whole point of, of the partnership share is more so for vested interest. At the end of the day, I told the same client who was telling us, make a contract, let's make this happen, was that, we just want the best for our clients. And if that means reinvesting the profits into the business, by all means, that's, like I said, at the end of the day, we just want the best for you guys. Enhanced CPC or manual bid. So it's actually not an either or. You do manual bidding, but we do manual bidding, and the enhanced CPC is, it's up to you. It's a more aggressive approach. You're pretty much saying to Google, hey, I'm giving Google the power to spend a little bit more if it thinks if I can garner a quality click. So, we always do enhanced CPC. We're always, we're more kind of guys. So I always say enhanced CPC. If maybe you don't have that big of a marketing budget, then, you can do regular CPC. It won't kill you. Elaine, hi, Mike. Have you figured out an alternative/resolution to the issue of getting flagged when posting on Craigslist Manila? Elaine, it's a great question. So I have not gotten to a definite science answer. I have found a little bit of a loophole where I make a new account. So I made a new Craigslist account. I made a whole new ad. It's funny, the first ad that I tried on that Craigslist account got flagged, and the second one was fine. So, like I said, we're still kind of figuring out a better solution, but I would say if you haven't already, make a new Craigslist account with a new email. Try that. Try to keep the description of the Manila Craigslist ad very simple. Don't go into too much detail. We used to say must be fluent in English. Maybe don't say something like that. Just be as broad as possible. Answer customer service. Talk to customers over the phone, email, live chat, and you can go from there. Now, if you're looking for someone to list products, that's a different story. I think there are a couple alternatives that I have for product listers. If you want to shoot me a message privately, Elaine. Michael P., how do you guys handle a call when you don't know how much the product? I'm sorry. How do you guys? Yeah,
I got this one.
Yeah.
How do you guys handle a call when you don't know much about the product the customer wants? Mike, that's a great question. One, don't be afraid to be honest with the customer. Don't make yourself sound foolish, but just tell the customer you think you know the answer, but you just want to confirm with the manufacturer. You're going to call the manufacturer and you'll call them back. They like that. Customers really do appreciate that. They like being called back. That shows that, they can trust giving you their money, right? Like when you call customers back, this goes back to Matt's question about how do you miss calls. A lot of the time when you call customers back, you'll actually close more sales than when you answer. Because for some reason, calling customers back leaves an amazing impression on the customer. So if you don't know much, don't be afraid to tell them you're going to call them back. That's one. Two, if you got the same question or similar questions over and over again, don't be afraid to give an answer you think is right. Use Google, use the supplier website, read the product descriptions when you're on the phone with the customer. Take your time. If a customer asks you a question, tell them, give me 1 second, please. Or can you hold for, don't rush. When you're on the phone with customers, it's very important that you move at a good pace. When you talk to the customers, when they ask you a question, don't answer right away. Give it a 1 second pause before you talk. Take your time and you'll be fine. When you start selling a new product, it's impossible for you to know, right? Me and Mike are closing new suppliers constantly. And every time you close a new supplier, we don't know anything about the product. But after 2 or 3 months of selling it, you pretty much get the same questions over and over again. And obviously you'll randomly get new questions all the time. But again, when you get the same questions over and over again, so you start to know the product and that's it. Selling is selling. And don't be afraid.
I definitely think in the near future, we'll do a live stream just based on customer service, because I think there's definitely a lot of tips that we can give on customer service. But Jared said pretty much said it perfectly. You can't just learn the product like that just because they ask about it. So, don't be afraid to be patient, because most of the time, the customer just wants information. They're usually not in some crazy rush. So if you just say, just a moment while I check that for you, you can mute them on your phone, do whatever search, maybe go on Safari on your phone. That happens to us, or it used to happen to us when we were taking calls, was, we'd be out and we don't have a computer. So, we have to go on our phones, have them on speakerphone. You can also get clever with it. Like Jared said before, he mentioned, we're talking about discounts. And this is something that I do all the time, where I'll give a discount. I'll be like, yeah, sorry, the best I can do is 4% off this product. And they're going back and forth. They're like, I don't know. I really was hoping for 10% off. And I was like, all right, I'll say, I do this all the time, or I used to. I'll be like, all right, do you mind if I put you on a quick hold? Let me see what I can do for you. Put them on a quick hold, sit there in my seat for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, unmute them. And all right, so I just spoke to my manager. He said I can give 7% off if you buy today. And I swear to God, it works like a charm,
One thing, this is not good advice, but one thing I saw Mike do when he moved into Vegas was he had a customer calling him, and he could tell it was just not a good conversation. He didn't want to answer it. He wanted his employee to talk to the customer. So he's on the phone with the customer. He's like, I think we're breaking up. Sorry. And just hangs up. And then immediately messages his employee, yeah, call them back. Now, that's not something I say I recommend. But that is the moral of the story is we get creative, right? We're not afraid to do things that are a little riskier, a little more bold. But at the end of the day, we do it because we know how valuable our time is. And, we know that we need to be spending our time doing things that are going to lead to the best results for our business.
Exactly. Like you said, you can get creative with it, have fun with it too. But I lost the train of thought, but yeah, get creative with it because there's a million and one things that you can do to close a sale.
Yep. So I think that's all the questions we have. Guys, just a quick announcement. Most likely by midnight, the cheapest program we will have will be $497. Right now, as of right now, you can still get in for $97 a month, but most likely by midnight, that will change. I know I've been posting on Instagram like every week that we're changing it. Honestly, we've just been having so much to do to get these new systems in place. But yeah, guys, most likely by midnight, we will not be offering $97 a month mentorship.
This is like the third live stream in a row that we're saying this. We may be back next week saying the same exact thing. But we know that our loyal fans, you guys, thank you for watching. We know you guys will be watching us say the same thing about us lowering our prices.
Listen, if you don't trust us, like if you don't think that we're actually going to raise the prices, I see why you don't trust us, but also I will say that one day you're going to check and the prices will actually be raised. Like
you're going to wake up to sign up and be like, all right, today's the day, and we'll actually have done it.
40 live streams later.
No, but yeah. Thank you guys for watching. As usual, we always have a great time. We'll tune in next time, and yeah, thank you for watching.